Welcome to Best Practices Weekly. There's a lot of talk in the education world about vocabulary, which words we should choose, both academic and content-specific words, and what the best practices are in teaching those words. Today we'll look at a framework that can help us answer some questions about which words we should teach and how we should be teaching them. I found the article, Words Everywhere, but which ones do we teach?, in the February 2014 edition of The Reading Teacher. What we'll end up taking away from this article is a framework for choosing which words to teach. It's called the SWIT, Selecting Words for Instruction from Text, and it is an approach to word selection. As we all know, the Common Core State Standards have an emphasis on vocabulary, both content and academic, but it does not say which words to teach. So this SWIT method can provide us with a framework for doing so. And just to refresh about how vocabulary instruction relates to the Common Core Standards, one of the anchor standards says that students will acquire and use accurately a range of general academic and domain-specific words and phrases. So we have a difference between academic words like in primary compare and contrast and attribute, and domain-specific words, which would be like, for example, in science, words associated with matter. So SWIT very simply stands for Selecting Words for Instruction from Text. So we're finding our basis for vocabulary words through text, informational, and narrative. And then we can take those words and classify them into 4 categories. And once we've classified them into the 4 different categories, we can have a better idea about which instructional approach to take with the words. Category 1 is essential words. And these are words that are essential to understanding the text. So in a narrative text, central words would be words that are central to story elements, for example, characters and their actions, even setting. In informational text, it's going to be words that are central to understanding the concept and key ideas in text. So that might be some of your domain-specific vocabulary that are really essential to understanding the overarching concept and ideas in the informational text. The second type of word that the SWIT framework identifies are valuable words. And these are words that are not necessarily specific just to the text. You may be able to understand the text without knowing what these words are, but they have an enduring importance. So students may see those in other grade levels or in other texts throughout that grade level. And depending on what age, grade, and vocabulary knowledge students have, valuable words can differ from classroom to classroom. Some examples of valuable words may be words like accommodate or even reconcile. So words that you could probably understand a story without knowing what the words mean, but they do have an enduring importance and lend value to the student's education. Accessible words are simply common words that are less likely to be understood by students who might have a language barrier or an underdeveloped vocabulary. So words that you find in your text that some students will understand, but you may need to make a point to making sure that students with a language barrier or an immature vocabulary have access to accessible words. And the fourth type of word that the SWIT framework identifies are imported words. So just as the title suggests, they're imported. You're not going to find these words in a text, but they can enhance a reader's understanding and appreciation of a text. So themes like theme and character traits and words that are going to help readers connect to the key concepts in the text are imported words. So words that teachers you're going to want to go out and find and introduce to help students connect to the text on a deeper level. So once you've gone through your text and you've categorized your words into those 4 categories, you can look at these 3 types of instructional strategies for teaching vocabulary. The first one is powerful instruction. And for words that are essential, basically a lot of your essential words, you're going to want to provide a clear definition, provide opportunities for students to discuss the word in context, ask questions that require deep thinking, and provide a reference sheet, which a lot of times in primary can be our word wall. Some of your words you can just do with a brief explanation. They can be discussed in context of the text, and you can give synonyms and maybe give another context sentence. Sometimes you can infer meanings. So many times word parts or context clues can help students identify the words, and a class discussion and making inferences can take care of that for you. So let me start off by saying that I would not use a table like this for every piece of text that I plan to teach, but for texts that add a lot of value to learning or that are very complex or that you're counting on to deliver a lot of instruction, this would be a valuable tool to help you determine which words you'll teach as essential, valuable, accessible, and important. And then once you've identified the type of word and put it into a category, you can tie it to an instructional technique of either powerful, brief, or infer. So these words came from a book about habitat. So that's an essential word that you can see I'm going to want to do some powerful instruction with. As to where the word burrow adds value to their understanding of the text, but I think I can teach that through inferring. So like I said, I wouldn't use this for every text that I plan to teach, but maybe I would make a template and just use it for those pieces of text that help me do heavy lifting. So reflecting on best practices, I think that using the SWIT method to first categorize the words that we want to teach and help us kind of narrow down which words we do want to teach, and then focusing in on which specific instructional strategies can help us make the most of vocabulary, can be a really powerful tool for helping us enhance our vocabulary instruction in our primary classrooms. I hope you find this article and this framework helpful as you use best practices to choose which words to teach and how to teach them. Thanks for joining us.